All right, welcome to the MadLab. We got UFC 298 this weekend, man. I am psyched. I'm even more psyched that I got some good news. Me and Mike are going down to the new house in Temecula. Just a boys' weekend. Me, Mike, and my kids go down there. We're going to watch the fights. We're going to do a little off-roading. Nice, quiet, and just zone in because this card is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. That's going to be a nice weekend, dude.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. You're going to love the house. Yeah. He hasn't seen the house. We just rented a house down there for a year to do some corporate events for my company, APN, and then use it personally as well. Beautiful house, 4 acres, pool, hot tub, everything. So the MadLab's going to enjoy being down in wine country.
My fat ass in that hot tub, living.
Before we get into the card, a couple things. Number one, the FightClb. So you guys have probably seen the promos about our FightClb event coming up, man. We are so psyched. And just to reiterate, if you don't know what the FightClb first event is, we're going to go to Vegas. We're going to the Apex Center, but we're making a whole little weekend out of it, right? We're going Friday night first with 15 people. I got a sick private room at Javier's. It's called the Marcos room. It's like a big, huge, looks like a king's table, big oval king's table. And we have secured UFC Hall of Famer, 3-time heavyweight champion Randy Couture to have dinner with us. And he's so excited about it. He's like, what do you guys want me to do? I'm like, nothing. We just want you to come have dinner and we're going to talk about fights and the fights you've been through and your career.
That's nice for him too because it's not like a signing.
Yeah, I said
it's
no.
Like he's just no signing, sit at a fucking table.
He's like, what do you need me to do? I'm like, nothing. Just hang out with the boys.
Have a couple drinks.
Hang out with a bunch of MMA fans. Talk about your career, and we're just gonna pick your brain a little bit and just hang. He's like, dude, this sounds great.
Yeah.
So we secured him. He'll be there Friday night. So that's gonna start the weekend. Then Saturday, we got a sick luxury suite at the Aria. MadLab's gonna break down all the fights. We got food. We got drinks. Also hired a social media guy to film the entire weekend. This way, everybody will get a little piece of content for themselves too, and people you'll be able to show people or even for yourself.
Yeah. So like when you guys go skydiving or you do those things, when you pay for those videos that everything's going to be documented, so you guys can concentrate on enjoying yourself, not taking 100 pictures, and you'll have a nice video package of the whole experience, edited and everything that you can put on your hard drive. You could show your friends. You could just have it for your history to show people. And
yours truly, executive producer, will be cutting up all that content. So that's awesome. So then before we go to the fights, we're doing a pre-fight party.
Yours truly means you. You know that, right?
How do you say it then?
Mackenzie.
Just say Isn't there a nice way to say it instead of...
Is there a nice way to say it?
Hers truly? How do we say it? I thought
yours truly means like me.
No, but if you point to somebody and go, yours truly, that means them.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it is. That's proper fucking grammar.
How's your fucking literature?
Okay. Pre-fight party at a suite in the Aria. We got foods, we got drinks, and then Lab's going to break down all the fights, tell us who he thinks is going to win the fights, tell us his wagers. We go downstairs, place our wagers. If you want to, head over to the Apex Center. Again, I'm going to say it. Apex Center only has 120 seats in the entire arena. It's a small venue, and 60 of those seats are Dana White and his crew. So they only sell 60 seats to the entire fight card to the public. We got 15 of those tickets. You get there as a concierge, red carpet arrival. You're going to see Dana White, whoever is there with him, open bar, buffet. So in between every fight.
That's the best part of the whole night. The best part of the whole night is in between every fight, you can get up and you just eat like a
get a drink, hang, grab something to eat, come back, eat like Mort de la Femme. And we're in rows 2 and 3. So I set it up where that we're sitting right, they said, do you want to be all on one row of 15 or just like be front and back? I said, no, let's make it front and back.
I'm going to throw a chicken finger into the cage.
The headline is Rose Namajunas against Amanda Ribas, future Hall of Famer Rose Namajunas.
It actually shaped up to be a really good card.
It's a really good card, and we're going to be right in front of the cage. So great. And then after the fights are over, we are allowed to go into the cage and take pictures as well. So
if you guys haven't seen the Apex Center either, it's almost like a museum in there. It's not just going in and watching the fights. They got like every belt, every signed jersey from the coaches from the Ultimate Fighter. Like there's just so much memorabilia. Dana White's personal office is in there where he has a garage in the back of it where he pulls into the garage with his car from his house because he lives in Vegas, pulls into there with the garage, goes through the garage into his office, changes in his apartment there, and goes to...
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I'm so psyched, man. This is like, I'd much rather do this than go to T-Mobile Arena with 20,000 people and be buried in the crowd. This is like so VIP. It's the way I want to go see fights. So super psyched about this and psyched for the guys that are coming with us. We got a great group of guys. We got some tickets left. If you're interested, just go to fightclb.com. Again, so you just put that on the screen, fightclb.com for all the info. So that's the Fight Club update. Before we go to the card, not that I want to bring it up, but, you know, we had Super Bowl, and I was rooting my ass off for the Niners with MadLab. He was at my house. Didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. I'm going to say questionable about why they decided to take the ball in overtime, knowing the new overtime rules, you know, and just logically, don't you want to know what you have to do? If Casey scores a touchdown, you know you got to score a touchdown. If Casey has a field goal, you know you can win the game. Like, don't you want to know?
Somebody's lying, because in all the press conferences, a lot of the players said they didn't know. They said we didn't know about
the Niners players are all saying they didn't know.
However, Brock Purdy, which he could be the young kid sucking up to the coach a little bit, claims that he went up to Brian Greasy and said, now, just to reiterate, what are the overtime rules? And he's like, and he went over them with me, so I knew. So, like, you don't know, but you got Bosa who didn't know. You got, like, the only justification for that is if the Niners defense was gassed and you were like, you know what, they need a break. Like, we can't throw them back on the field right now. But other than that, there's no other justification. Even for that, there's no justification for it.
But if it was that, don't you think they would have said that in the post-press conference? Yeah, the reason why we decided...
No, they made the decision. Shanahan said, we made that decision a week before the game. Like, that. This is what we were going to do because we wanted to get the ball, have a chance to score, let them score, and be the person to have the ball the third time. It's a bullshit excuse.
Yeah. Well, okay, when you just said that...
But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so
because you still want to know what kind of playbook we're throwing out there. Do we just need, did they not score and we just need a field goal and we could just dink and dunk to McCaffrey and this and that? You know what I mean?
And even what you just said, Mahomes said that we've been talking about this for weeks, and we said that if they get the ball first and they score a touchdown, that if we score, we're going for two.
Yeah, did you see that?
No matter what, it was going to end.
Yeah, bro.
There was going to be no third possession anyway.
It was going to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, listen, this was by far the biggest heartbreak loss I've ever experienced in all my years of sports. I've experienced bad ones with the Knicks.
Yeah. Like
with Ewing and Charles Smith and stuff like that. Experienced bad ones with the Niners, in an NFC Championship game when they hit Kyle Williams and all that other crap. This was by far, bro, the one that stung the most. To the point I haven't even watched any news or outlets.
Yeah.
But the only positive I will take out of it, and I don't even know if it's positive because every year it's a positive, but we have 11 draft picks. We're really not losing many studs to free agency, and Brock Purdy did not lose that game.
No.
He played actually. He actually, if you really look at the game, like he was kind of outplaying Mahomes a little bit.
Yeah, the first half especially.
But Mahomes did what he did the other two playoff games. He won it when it counted.
He won it when it counted.
That's it.
And this. And then the last thing is this fucking kid Mahomes, man. This guy's inevitable.
He's unbelievable, dude.
Who knows what's going to happen the next 15 years? It's not easy to win the big ones, but man, what a resume already.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody else.
He's not surpassing Brady.
I don't know, bro. We could say that shit, and then he wins 2 more in the next 4 years. And he's got 5, and he's 32. Like, this shit. It's.
I don't think he's going to win another one for a while.
We'll see,
I think he's going to be competitive. He's always going to be competitive, but I don't think the Chiefs are going to win another one for a while.
We shall see. Anyway, we got the big card coming up, man. We're going to cover the top 4 fights on the card, and I'm so psyched to watch this card. I haven't been excited about a card like this in a minute. What?
I had such a speech set up.
For what?
For today.
For what speech?
With the Niners.
Oh, if they won, you.
Dude.
Yeah. No, you can save that for next year.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's start with Merab the Machine versus Henry Cejudo. Now, all 4 of these fights are very, very tough matchups.
They are.
Like, the dogs in these are like super live dogs.
Well, you flipped me on one just an hour ago.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But man, this is another tough one. Merab, I think he's at minus 210 over here, minus 180. I think it was over minus 200 here. Who looked phenomenal against Jan, but then again, was that the same Jan? Because Jan had just lost to O'Malley and Sterling before that. I don't know. I thought Jan was an elite guy, but he destroyed Jan. And then Cejudo coming back off retirement didn't look that good against Aljamain, right? It was Aljamain, right?
Yeah.
Didn't look that good against Aljamain, so it's like, okay. But then you're like, wait a minute. Cejudo, Olympic 3-time gold, whatever he was, gold medalist, Olympic wrestler, and Merab's a takedown machine. Although Merab really showed his stand-up game against Jan, it's such a tough fight. I didn't like how Cejudo looked. I know he fired everybody in his training camp. And
did you see the way he did it?
No.
He did it on embedded, dude.
Cejudo?
Yeah, like he fired his head coach on embedded.
I hate his ego. That's what I don't like.
Why would you do that? That's like you coming to me and be like, hey, bro, I want to let you know that, in the public, like not taking me in the office and saying something to me. Like you take me and you had it planned and you do it on
It's
camera.
all ego. It's all fucking ego. On the other side of things, there's Merab, humble guy, been taking second place to Aljamain, just being a good friend, hard worker, cardio machine. I love the guy, man, so much. And I'm going to go with the favorite here. I'm going to go with Merab. I'm going to go more with Merab by decision. And I don't know. I just don't know. If he's going to be able to take down Cejudo, as much as he does in his other fights. But I know this motherfucker's not going to stop trying and keep going. I think he's going to win the decision, and it's going to be a 3-2 or 4-1.
It's a 3-round fight.
Oh, it's not a 5-round fight. I see big names. I'm thinking, okay, 2 rounds to 1.
Yeah. So,
sorry.
The thing with Merab is, like, if you watch all the guys in Syndicate, they were saying, like, how this guy goes 5 rounds in practice and then goes and trains. Like, his conditioning's crazy. And everybody loves him. The thing that concerned me before we talked was you said, the wrestling, the Olympic level. I mean, he's a gold medalist. It's not like he's just an Olympic level guy. But when I was breaking down the Hernandez and Kopylov fight, that's when I kind of flipped. I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Like, there's a difference between MMA wrestling, MMA grappling, and your traditional BJJ. You know what I mean? So when I look at Henry Cejudo's wrestling, it's good, but he's going to have constant pressure on him. So, is his boxing cleaner? 1,000%. If it stays in space, is he going to win this fight? 1,000%. But how do you keep Merab in space? He's not going to allow you to keep him in space. Even if he doesn't get a takedown, he's going to, in some facet, control you on the cage, pressure your hips. You're going to have to fight your way out. And if you fight your way out, he's like a leech. He just keeps coming. They call him the machine for a reason. So that's what kind of made me flip. I don't think he's stupid enough to sit in the center of the cage and not trust his wrestling and say, I'm just going to stand and trade with Cejudo. I don't think he's... So you could be as intelligent as you want. Like, Cejudo knows what's coming, but you got to figure out how to stop that. Like, you got to figure out how to slow this kid down. And in a 3-round fight, I don't see it happening. I'm not going to slow him down. Like, you can nullify him. And what happens if you take him down? Like, you think he's just going to, he's just going to lay there?
Yeah.
I wonder if Cejudo does try to do that, though. Say, I'm going to reverse this kid. I'm going to take him down.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I think he's at the bridge now where
he's averaging 7 takedowns a fight, Merab, and that's all in 3-round fights because he doesn't get main event spots.
I say he secures 3 takedowns in this fight. I'll say 3. With a lot of pressure, a lot of failed attempts, a lot of pressure. But the judges are going to see, okay, well, he's getting 3 minutes of cage control time. He's pushing forward. Cejudo's a little lost. I'm going to go decision. I'm going to go 29-28 Merab Dvalishvili.
Yeah, me too. And, it might be one of those, I know Merab's had a couple of those boring fights.
It's like
the Jan fight was awesome to watch, right? Because he was crushing him. He was a lot of significant. It might be one of those grinder, control against the cage, couple takedowns, not letting Cejudo get off, and not an exciting fight, but clearly wins a decision with no issue.
Cejudo maybe clipping him, and then all of a sudden, boom, he goes right back to the hips.
Yeah.
It's just going to be that kind of fight. It's going to be Cejudo fighting him off for 13 minutes, and Cejudo gaining some offense for 2 minutes.
I like it.
That's what I think.
We go with the favorite. Yeah. Now we got next fight on the card. Jeff Neal against Ian Machado Garry. Now, I've watched the first embedded. I've been watching the last 2 weeks a little bit of Ian Garry. All of a sudden, his attitude really calmed down. All of a sudden, he's a nice guy again. You know, because after running his mouth and getting a lot of flack and people threatening him and threatening his wife, all of a sudden he calmed down now. And they went to Brazil to shootbox.
That's big.
He went down there. You know,
you have to. They don't let you go there unless you're putting in work.
Yeah, and they say he's been training good, and the kid is definitely a phenomenal striker. Jeff Neal hits hard. Jeff, the hands of steel. You know, this is a great matchup. I think this is a great. If Garry gets past Neal here, because I just, you know, the Neal Magny thing is like, yeah, I know he could do it to some people like he just did to fucking Mallet, you know, but, you know, I think if Garry
he's
gets...
not that level.
No, he's not that level, you know, and I like Neal. I don't like that he's not emotional. He's like such a nice guy too. So I don't think Garry could get even under his skin anyway. Not that he's trying to. It seems like he's going the other way. I'm interested in seeing the presser.
Well, you remember he had the shirt with Neal.
Yeah, he did, but I'm interested in seeing the presser. I want to see if Garry runs his mouth like he usually does, or he's playing this whole nice guy thing, and that he's taking a different turn because he's afraid of the death threats he got with his family and his wife. Maybe that's why he's doing that.
Could be.
I really think he backed out of that fight because of that. But you know, Dana White said he showed a positive test for COVID. Whatever. I really do want to pick Neal here. You know, and he's a live dog, but as much as I hate the fucking guy, man, he's a really talented fighter. He's got crisp striking, and I think I don't think Neal's going to get off those thunder shots on him. Yeah, I think this kid's too quick for it, and he's an elite striker. And I'm going to call. I don't think he's going to knock him out. Neal's tough. I think it'll be Ian by decision.
On the whole main card, this is the second dog. This is the second fight where the dog is like probably the most live.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of live.
Maybe actually, I don't know.
But you know, the thing with Ian Garry is, bro, if you watch like his fights as he's come up, dude, like his striking's only getting better.
Yeah.
He keeps you at the end of his punches, and if he keeps you at the end of his punches, he's hitting you with power. He's hitting you with velocity. He ties them together. He keeps them coming. He doesn't back off. Jeff Neal, though, he finds like ways to get to hit you. Like, if you really watch him fight, like, he finds ways to
and he's weird because he looks so slow in there.
And he looks too, like, relaxed. Like, he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and he's tough, man. He's really, really, really tough. But I can see Ian Garry now being at Cejudo box and using some grappling in this fight. Like, really trying to show off his game. You know what I mean? Like coming out striking. Jeff Neal's going to come out striking with him. Maybe he tastes something of Jeff Neal, or maybe they come in with the game plan like, we're going to stand until we don't have to anymore. If you get a takedown, just fucking take it. You know, and I could see Ian Garry taking him down, and even though his grappling is probably not going to look good, it's probably going to be serviceable enough to beat a guy like Jeff Neal. And then all of a sudden, people are going to be talking about his grappling. Well, now he's well-rounded and this and that. But I could totally see a situation where these guys are standing and banging, and he's still having success with his hands. But he decides, like, let me take this to the floor now and show these guys, like, what I've been doing over.
And we display my whole array.
Yeah, so I think it's a good fight. I think Jeff Neal can 1,000% knock him out, not even a question. And there are quite a lot of question marks with Garry, but it's hard not to pick him here.
It's so hard
because it's the bigger cage too. You got to remember, he's going to have move around and get away and skirt if he has to. It's not like Neal has this little bubble where he could just lock him down.
You know, I'm where you want it, but here's what I don't like.
I would love to. I'm picking Garry, but I want Jeff Neal to win.
Same here. Here's what, you know, I'm looking at it, and I'm picking the favorites, and my gut just tells me there's going to be two dogs that come through.
On the main card?
Yeah, but I'm leaning the favorites.
There is one fight on the main card that we're not doing that I picked as a dog.
Which one's that?
The Kopylov and Hernandez fight. I'll tell you guys right now. Kopylov and Hernandez.
Yeah, I like that pick.
I'm taking Kopylov in that fight. I think Hernandez is a good fighter, an aggressive fighter. I think people are putting way too much stock in Rodolfo Vieira.
I was just going to say from that win from a couple years ago. Yeah,
he looked really good in his last couple of fights. He's aggressive, but once again, the bigger cage, Kopylov is nasty with his kicks. He's nasty at range, and I think he's going to be able to keep Hernandez off him to a point where I honestly think Kopylov's going to knock him out. I think he's like a plus 180. He's a big dog.
I don't want to talk shit about Fluffy, but I think that Rodolfo Vieira was more about Vieira not being prepared as well for that fight, like he should have been, than that being a big win for Hernandez. He was gassed in the middle of the fucking first round.
My sister could have subbed him.
And now you see Vieira's won like 3 or 4 in a row. He's looked pretty fucking good.
So that's the thing too. It's also aging well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's aging well because he got him at a weak point.
Yep.
And that taught his lesson. So people are saying, well, he did it then. Look at him now. No, it's not the case. The fact of the matter is, after that loss, it was so devastating that he had no choice.
Like, I think if they fought again right now,
he'd get destroyed.
Yeah.
He would take him out and sub him in the first round.
Yep.
You know?
All right, let's go now. Man, this is a great fight. Co-headliner, man, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. Dude, when Paulo Costa first came up, man, he was my favorite fighter. You know,
he had great body work.
Body work, man. He hit like a fucking truck, especially after the fight against Neal Romero. I mean, that was one of the best fights I seen. Man, they were going toe-to-toe, and he was just eating them, dude, eating those leg kicks. And then he had that fight against Izzy, and then he blamed the drinking, and then he started with the juice thing, and then he fought Vettori. And although he came back towards the end of that fight, Vettori beat him, and I don't think Vettori's that great of a fighter. You know, so I started losing confidence in him. And I still have a loss.
They never have that rematch.
They should have, you know, and I still have that lost confidence in him, but I know he's looked better now. He looks like he's dialed in. He's calmed down. He's getting married. He's not doing the whole Bordercina show now, and he's taking this very seriously. And then we got Robert Whittaker, you know, one of the best to do it, definitely future Hall of Famer. He's only lost, you know, to Izzy twice, you know, and then he had that loss to Duplessis, who's now the champ, which, you know, I'd like to see him fight again. You know, he's still Robert Whittaker, man, and I think he's got a lot to prove here. I think he wants to prove that he deserves to get back into contention. I think he wants to prove that he should fight, you know, the winner of Dricus and Izzy if they fight. And I think if he wins this fight, he will get... If Izzy wins, I don't know if he gets a third shot, but you know if Dricus wins, he'll get the rematch. And you don't want to forget about him and forget how smart he is in the cage. And Paulo Costa's not that smart in the cage. No. It's two completely different mindsets there. So I know Costa hits like a truck, and if he does the body work, Whittaker could be in trouble because we've seen him get clocked before. But I just can't bet against Robert Whittaker here. If he's the Robert Whittaker that we've all seen over the years, man, and he pops you with that leading and keeps you on your back foot, I got to go with Whittaker, man.
Well, you're right, though, with the body work, but in order to, you got to land the body work.
Yep.
You know, you got to be close to get body work.
Yeah.
In. You can't just, like, start, you know, throwing, you know, stuff out there and expect it to hit. So, like I keep saying it, the bigger cage. Like when we're so used to watching the Apex, you know, which favors the guy that's closing the gap.
Yep.
Because it's a smaller cage.
Yeah.
But when they go into these bigger events, you'll be surprised the difference.
But if
in that real estate,
if he gets cued and he allows Costa to get inside,
when has he ever gotten cued?
He does, and he's smart. That's why I say he's too smart.
You know,
Costa hits like a fucking truck.
He hits like a truck. I mean, listen, Costa's in great shape, best shape I've ever seen him in,
and he's always in good shape as it is.
Always in good shape, but. I went down the line, like, you guys got to always remember, I say this time and time again, we did this with Magny, we went over this with him and Mike Mallet. We did it last week with Hermanson, and I don't even think you agreed with me with Hermanson.
No, I agreed with you.
Were?
I loved that pick.
Oh, all right.
I knew everybody was on Pyfer.
So everybody was all over Pyfer, and I'm saying, okay, and I was not as appalled with the people picking Pyfer than I was with Magny, because we've seen Magny show that he sometimes just fades.
Yeah.
But Hermanson had, a couple bad showings, but against great guys, like all top-level guys.
Yeah, tough run.
And people were just like, Pyfer. So I was like kind of appalled by that. It was like a no-brainer for me to say Hermanson. So this is another, the next two spots could be these spots where you forgot about Robert Whittaker against Cannonier. Remember? We were the only people that said, how soon you forget.
Yep.
You know, and he came out and destroyed him. Then, he had his issues. Where he doesn't look that good here and there. He's had injuries. He's riddled with sickness and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you got to go through the mark the boxes and who is better where and who proved to you what. And the fact of the matter is Robert Whittaker checks every single box except for a few. He doesn't have more power than Costa. Costa's got better power. Durability. We'll give him durability. He's more durable because Costa's durable, dude.
Yeah, because remember, Vettori was crushing him, and he was standing right in there. Yoel too. Yeah.
He's durable. He's super, super durable. And the thing that's with him that's deceiving is when he looks gassed, you don't even know if he's gassed because he starts coming out with throwing volume.
That round 4 and 5 of the Vettori fight, I was like, I couldn't believe it after that.
So those are like the three things. But outside of that, skill set, cage IQ, striking, distance, range management, tying in his wrestling.
Who's got the grappling advantage?
Whittaker.
Whittaker, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a black belt in BJJ, but Whittaker knows how to do these little crazy things, like stabbing you, ankle picking you. Like he does these things. He's like almost like a cat in there.
Yeah.
You know, and when you got the bigger cage, once again, in there, where he's going to have all that room to move around.
He does that side to side.
And make
the lateral movement.
And chase him. I think the only path he has here is to catch him, and I just don't think he's going to catch him. He's not like Izzy, where he's super precision, where he sets all these traps and he comes in and he baits you and come in. He throws, hoping you're going to be there. You know what I mean? So I don't see it. I honestly think after we talked and after I went through it again, I think Whittaker is going to decisively beat him.
Yeah, Lab was leaning Costa early in the week
because of the ability to move forward and take some punishment and get in on him. But I don't think he's going to be able to get in on him. I don't, and he doesn't fight enough, dude. He fights once a year.
And but you know, look, you know. Drick has cost Whittaker.
He's only 1 year old. He's only 1 year older than Costa.
He's only 34?
He's 33.
33.
Costa's 32. So it's not like they're far, but he's been in some wars.
He's been in wars. But, you know, look, Drick has caught Whittaker, right?
Yeah.
Same thing could happen
he's
here.
got power, though.
You know, but Costa's got sick power, too. So it's another live dog here. Again, I feel like there's going to be a dog in these top 4 fights we're covering here.
Somebody's going to.
You know, but, you know, I got to lean Whittaker here, but, you got to watch out. The guy's fucking got power.
Yep.
All right.
I think the dog on the main card is going to be Kopylov.
Yeah. I like that pick, but I feel like there might, out of these 4,
there's going to be. Like
someone's going to come through.
It's not that they're better, but someone's going to get caught.
Now we got the main event: Volkanovski, Topuria. You know, Lab and I've been talking about this, man. This kid Topuria looks great. He looks like the best guy in the division outside of Volkanovski. He's got all the skill sets. We have seen him in trouble. Lab reminded me, hey man, let's watch. Remember this fight with Jai Herbert yesterday? Did you? And I remember he got in trouble. I don't know how he ate that leg kick that most guys would have been knocked out right there. Topuria ate that leg kick and got up, but he's been in trouble before. He weathered the storm. He won that fight. Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell, but Volkanovski's mutilated everybody. Max Holloway, Ortega. The only guy he has in was Makhachev twice. Second one being on short notice, and Makhachev being even a big guy for his own division, right? So I don't even want to really count that. And then the first fight, he fought him very, very, very good.
People actually thought he might.
Some people thought he won. I didn't. But
that
5th round, I mean, that was phenomenal. I don't know how you could pick against Volkanovski, man. You know what I mean? And this kid Topuria's got the skills, man. The only thing that worries me about this fight, and I'm picking Volkanovski to win, and I'm picking him to win a decision. The only thing that worries me is that I feel like in the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of the guys, and we've had these kind of conversations. You know, like, hey, he had that loss, but don't forget, blah, blah, blah. He's still blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, this is when they lose 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. You know what I mean? And just lose the edge. Like a quarterback, all of a sudden 1 year comes back and just all of a sudden he just lost it.
Yeah, but you're talking about like the pound for pound.
Yeah, I know. That's
it's not
why.
Like it's a Strickland or.
That's why I'm leaning Volkanovski. I mean, look, the guy, he mowed out the division twice. You know, I'm sure the motivation in there. The motivation is there, but is it? You know, he wanted to go up. He lost to Makhachev twice. I know the guy trains like an animal. Is there a possible, like, not as motivated as usual? I don't know. I mean, the guy has such a strong mindset. Championship medal. When you think of championship medal, you think about him. Yep. You think about the fucking Ortega fight when he was gargling.
Remember we got up, we're like, it's over.
Gargling. We thought it was over twice, and then in the triangle too. You know, and just watching him go through that. I mean, I love the fucking guy, and I gotta pick him. But you know, this kid's nasty. This kid's nasty. This is a super tough test, man, and I'm really curious to see the first round. I'm really curious to see in the beginning, you know, who's going to be doing the forward pressure. Is he going to be cautious, Volkanovski? Is Topuria going to come right at him? Like, I'm really can't wait to see how the fight starts. And I'm going to go Volkanovski by decision here, man, but this is a super fucking tough test for him.
Yeah, you know, when you look at this, like, forget about Volkanovski right now. Talk about Topuria. Now, mind you, he's 14-0. He can only fight who they put in front of him.
Right.
But if you look at his UFC landscape, like all the guys that he's fought, they're extremely one-dimensional. They're good at one thing. There's one thing you have to worry about, and that's it. You got Josh Emmett, has good wrestling, but he stays on the feet. Yep. You got Bryce Mitchell, who's a grappler. You got Jai Herbert, who wants nothing to do with the ground. He wants to stand with you.
That Ryan Hall what a horrible fight that was.
Ryan Hall has no stand-up whatsoever.
Yeah.
Damon Jackson, a grappler. Youssef Salal, I would consider him a little bit of both, but he's obviously not good. So, he's never had to go into a cage and worry about fighting this is a guy who can get me on the ground. This is a guy who can get me on the feet. This is a guy who can get me in space, in close. He's never had to worry about that. So you can kind of go in and say, listen, this is what I'm going to do to this guy, and this is it. Because he's well-rounded himself.
Very.
He can grapple, he can strike. And the crazy thing with him is he was a predominant grappler, in the early years, and then when he came into the UFC, all of a sudden he strings 3 knockouts in a row. Now he's got hands.
Like a lot of guys, they fall in love with their striking.
And now he's got hands behind him, and you know what I mean? So it's all right, so now he's got the whole kit and caboodle. 8 submissions and 4 wins, and 4 knockouts. 3 of his knockouts are in the UFC out of the 4 in his career. So when you look at that, you're like, all right, well, he's beating everybody that they're putting in front of him. He gave Josh Emmett look like a painting canvas.
He destroyed Bryce Mitchell.
But when you look at Josh Emmett, what does he do that's good outside of his power? If you watch that fight, he loads up on his strikes. He just throws.
That's how he wins.
That's how he wins. And sometimes he wins and sometimes he doesn't, because he does have fast hands. But when you look at a guy like Volkanovski, who literally has beaten everybody,
twice or 3 times,
just clowning people. He goes into the fight against Makhachev when nobody gave him any chance. I was one of them.
On the first one.
Yeah. I said no chance he beats this guy.
Yeah.
There's no chance. It's just, you forget about the skill set. It's just the size and the skill set. You got a guy who's bigger and probably better everywhere. He makes me bite my nails the whole fight, thinking I was going to lose the fight. This is where everyone's missed what the points that they're missing. You're taking a fight where he got knocked out in his last fight against Makhachev when he rolled off the couch a week before, and he was in a serious alcoholic binge. He was so depressed. So picture being home for a month, drinking booze.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was really depressed, bro.
Was because of that loss?
No. This was before the loss.
Oh, before.
This was before he got the call for the second fight.
Yeah, but it's in between the first Makhachev fight and the second one.
That's when it was a 1 week notice.
But he was
very depressed
because he lost. Why was he depressed?
Oh, you mean the first fight that he lost?
Yeah.
He just I don't know. He said it was because of his inactivity. He's like, I'm in my head. He's like, people don't notice about me. He's like, but if I'm not active, I don't know what to do with myself. So he starts questioning things. So he started drinking. He started, sitting on the couch. And those Aussies drink.
Oh yeah, they drink.
They drink. So he was drinking. He was
I didn't know that.
He gets a call on the week's notice. He comes off the couch because of the championship medal.
All the way to Abu Dhabi.
Right.
How far is that from Australia?
I don't know. I would have to look. I mean, it's not close. It's definitely a different time zone. And then he cuts the weight. He makes the weight.
Yeah.
Even with all that shit, a lot of it was probably wheat and barley from the beer and shit. I mean, let's think about it. You know what I mean? But he cuts the weight. He fights. He gets knocked out. He doesn't even look like himself. Doesn't even try to get up. Like, you could just see he was out. He was defeated. He was done. He lost that fight. But people are looking at that. And they're going, bro, he got fucking knocked out. He's not the same anymore. He's not this. He's not that. Bro, he's coming in this fight so prepared for this fight.
I give him a pass on that last Makhachev fight.
I don't even count it.
Yeah, it's just,
He's going to come so prepared for this fight. And I'm going to say this premise this in the show, but I'm going to say Topuria is going to be champion eventually. Not now. Them putting a -115 line on this fight is ludicrous.
I think that's crazy too.
It's absolutely ludicrous. Win or lose. If he wins or loses, you'll never see him at a +115 ever again in your life.
I think it should be Topuria +180.
Yes.
That's actually right around
That's
there.
Perfect. That's actually a perfect line.
Yeah.
But to see Volkanovski, a -115 favorite, like basically even odds, to me is absolutely ludicrous. And
I agree.
It's all predicated on his last performance where he was depressed, drunk, fat, and getting off the couch in 1 week. That's against a guy in a higher weight class.
Yep.
That's what it's and the best guy, pound for pound, in the UFC.
Yeah, and the guy fighting at home, everything was
all
in
the
his
odds.
favor. Yeah.
Everything was stacked against him, and he took the fight because that's who he is. You are going to see a good fight. Topuria's going to make it a good fight. but he's going to get lost in translation late because Volkanovski is going to throw so many. Volkanovski said it perfectly in the interview. He's like, dude, I know this kid is good, but what is he going to throw at me that I haven't seen before?
Yep. I love it.
So I think the play of the main card from a wagering perspective, as far as value-wise, win or lose, you got to go Volkanovski.
Let's go.
So I'm going to go Volkanovski by decision.
I wonder what
I wouldn't be shocked if Volkanovski finishes him in the 4th or 5th.
So on DraftKings, what is Volkanovski, 8,200 or 8,000? I didn't even look yet.
Where's my phone?
Because if it's that, when have you ever seen Volkanovski
Never.
in that price range? And with the volume that he throws? I didn't even look yet.
And another thing, what makes him hard to fight, this is another thing that a lot of people don't factor in, what makes him kind of difficult to fight. So did the prices come out yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Volkanovski is
Well, you're scrolling down.
8,200.
Wow.
It's 8,200.
When have you ever seen Volkanovski at 8,200 on DraftKings?
I mean, he's value all over the board. So, but the thing that makes him hard difficult to lay a beat on, this is where Topuria is going to have a problem, I think. He's so short, and he's got these gorilla arms. Dude.
Yep.
So, like, the depth perception of it doesn't seem right because you got a guy who's so short in there, and you're trying to and then all of a sudden, boom! You're like, where did that come from? He's going to have a longer reach than Topuria. He's got a freakishly long 71-inch reach at his height.
For a guy that height, it's crazy.
So think about like that coming at you, like somebody putting an extension on their hand. And I just think he's going to be too much. I think Topuria is going to be a champion. It's not his time right now.
Volk's one of the best to ever do it, man.
He might actually win this, and who knows? Maybe he throws down the gloves.
No, he's got a lot of gas in the tank, man. No fucking way.
I don't know. He's got a lot of money in his bank account, too.
Yeah, he does. He does. All right, well, let's do it. All right, UFC 298. Can't wait to see it. We have our MadLab, MMA.com. You guys know that. Jump on in. If you want to jump on the card, you can pay $15 weekly or pay $50 a month. We're going to be loaded with the wagers, loaded with DraftKings plays. Lab and I will be watching down at the new house in Temecula. Hope to see you all there in Discord, watching it together. Don't forget about Fight Club. Come check it out. FightClb.com. And we'll see you next week.